The wind cut through the city streets like a knife that evening, rattling windows and carrying the sharp scent of winter into every alley. Michael Hayes, a single dad juggling 2 jobs, was on his way home after a 12-hour shift at the warehouse. His daughter, Lily, held tightly to his hand as they waited for the late bus. The bus stop was nearly empty, save for a few people huddled against the bitter wind. One figure drew Michael's attention, a woman shivering violently, wrapped in a threadbare coat that barely protected her from the cold. Her hair was damp, sticking to her pale cheeks. She held a small cardboard sign that read, "Anything helps, thank you." Michael looked at Lily. "Wait here, sweetheart," he said softly. She nodded, trusting him. He approached the woman cautiously. "Are you okay?" he asked, crouching to meet her eyes. "I'll be fine," she murmured, teeth chattering. Michael shook his head. "No, you won't, not in this cold." He slipped off his own coat and draped it over her shoulders. "Here, take it. I've got plenty of blankets at home. You need warmth." Her eyes widened. I can't." "You can," Michael interrupted gently. "You need it more than I do right now." She hesitated, then let him help her wrap the coat around herself. For a brief moment her lips quivered and tears ran silently down her cheeks. Michael didn't speak, he just nodded, a simple gesture of understanding, and walked back to Lily. The bus arrived, doors hissing open, and Michael held Lily close as they climbed aboard. He didn't think much more of it. After all, in a city like this, helping someone for a few minutes wasn't unusual. But what Michael didn't know was that the woman he had helped that night was no ordinary person. Her name was Victoria Hale. She was the newly appointed CEO of Hale Industries, one of the largest tech companies in the country. The past months had been a personal hell, betrayed by business partners, facing financial ruin, and traveling anonymously to gather her thoughts. She had no idea how she would survive the cold night, and Michael Hayes had unknowingly saved her life. The next morning, Michael and Lily were back at their small apartment, trying to catch a few hours of sleep before work and school. A knock sounded at the door. He frowned. Who could it be this early? When he opened it, he froze. There stood Victoria, impeccably dressed now, her coat shiny and her hair perfect. Behind her, a sleek black car gleamed in the morning sun. "Excuse me," she said, smiling softly. "I don't know if you remember me, but you gave me your coat last night." Michael blinked. Yes, I did. You were freezing." Victoria stepped forward. "I want to repay you. It's the least I can do." Michael hesitated. I don't need anything, really, it was nothing." Victoria shook her head. "It wasn't nothing. You saved me more than you know, and I can't ignore that." She handed him a small envelope. Inside were keys and documents, the deed to a fully furnished, renovated apartment in a safer neighborhood, enough funds to cover bills for years, and a letter explaining that she wanted Michael and Lily to have a fresh start. Michael's hands trembled as he looked at the envelope. I can't accept this," he whispered. "You already did something remarkable," Victoria said. "You helped a stranger when no one else would. That deserves more than thanks." Lily tugged at her father's sleeve. "Daddy, is this our new home?" she asked, eyes wide. Michael knelt to her level, overwhelmed. "It looks like it, pumpkin." Victoria smiled at the little girl. "You have a kind father, Lily. Never forget that." Weeks passed. Michael and Lily moved into the new apartment, starting fresh in a neighborhood that felt safe and bright. Victoria and Michael kept in touch, not just out of gratitude, but because she had witnessed something rare, a man who gave selflessly without expecting anything in return. And every time Lily ran through the hallways laughing, Michael remembered the cold night at the bus stop. He hadn't thought twice about giving his coat to a stranger, but that simple act of kindness had changed their lives forever and left a CEO stunned by the power of a single father's heart. From that day on, Michael knew, doing the right thing, even in small ways, can ripple farther than anyone imagines. One night, one coat, One act of courage had given them all a second chance. The morning after Victoria Hale appeared at their door, Michael and Lily were still trying to process what had happened. Moving into a new apartment was stressful under any circumstances, but for a single dad and his daughter, it was almost surreal. Boxes were everywhere, and Lily was darting from room to room, squealing with excitement at each new corner she discovered. Michael sat on the couch, exhausted, rubbing his temples. "I can't believe this," he muttered. "One night at a bus stop and now this." Lily plopped beside him, holding a small stuffed bear she had claimed as her own from the moving boxes. "Daddy, you're a hero. You saved a lady, remember? That's why she gave us this place." Michael smiled weakly, but deep down, the weight of responsibility still pressed on him. Jobs, bills, school, it never stopped. And now suddenly there was this new opportunity, this unexpected lifeline. But he still worried. I hope we're ready for this, Pumpkin. Life doesn't hand you gifts without challenges." Meanwhile, Victoria was far from idle. She had contacted her personal assistant to arrange everything: utilities, school enrollment for Lily, and even a small stipend to help Michael stabilize financially while he searched for work closer to home. But she also wanted to meet them, to ensure the people she was helping were the kind of people who valued kindness over wealth. That evening she arrived with a basket of groceries, fresh bread, and homemade soup. Lily ran to the door, practically vibrating with excitement. "It's her, Daddy, the lady from the bus stop." Michael opened the door, smiling politely. "Victoria, you didn't have to." "I wanted to," Victoria said warmly. "It's important to me that you're settling in okay, and I wanted to see the hero who saved me." Michael laughed nervously, glancing at Lily. "Hero, I did what anyone would do." "You did more than that," Victoria insisted. "You acted without thought for reward, without hesitation. That's rare these days." Over the next few weeks, Michael's life slowly began to change. He found a job with more stable hours, closer to home, allowing him to spend evenings with Lily. They decorated the apartment, unpacked boxes, and even started a small routine: homework together, dinner at the table, bedtime stories, and little adventures exploring their new neighborhood. Victoria continued to check in, but their interactions became more personal than transactional. She shared her own struggles, how she had been betrayed by trusted colleagues, left homeless for a short period while she traveled anonymously to regroup, and how she'd nearly given up hope. Michael shared his own story: losing his wife years ago, juggling work and parenting alone, and the quiet sacrifices he made to keep Lily safe. One particularly cold evening, Lily tugged on Michael's sleeve. "Daddy, I want to invite her to Thanksgiving dinner. Can we?" Michael hesitated. "I don't know, Pumpkin, she's busy. Victoria's got her own life." "She saved us, Daddy. Don't you think she deserves some fun?" Lily's eyes sparkled. Michael chuckled, finally giving in. "All right, let's do it." Thanksgiving arrived, and with it, laughter and warmth filled the apartment. Victoria brought a homemade pie, and Lily insisted on showing her every corner of their new home. Michael watched from the kitchen, heart swelling. Their lives had changed in ways he couldn't have imagined, all because of one night at a freezing bus stop. Later that evening, as dishes were cleared and the last remnants of pie disappeared, Victoria pulled Michael aside. "You know, you didn't just save me from the cold that night," she said softly. "You reminded me there are still people in this world worth trusting, people worth helping. You gave me hope." Michael looked into her eyes, seeing a vulnerability he hadn't expected. "I didn't do it for that. I did it because it was right, but I'm glad if it helped you." Victoria smiled, reaching out to touch his arm. "It helped all of us. You've given your daughter a life she deserves, Michael, and you've given me faith again." As she left that evening, the city lights reflecting in the snow outside, Michael held Lily close. "You see, Pumpkin, one small act can change everything." Lily hugged him tightly. "I hope everyone does that, Daddy." Michael smiled, looking out at the quiet, snow-dusted streets. Maybe they will, and if they don't, at least we know we tried. In the weeks and months that followed, word of Michael's act of kindness quietly spread. Victoria quietly ensured that the family was supported, but she never made a show of it. For Michael and Lily, the real reward was seeing their lives flourish. Warmth, stability, and the reminder that sometimes, helping someone in need can come back in ways no one could have expected. And every winter, when the wind cut through the city streets, Michael would think back to that freezing night, the woman at the bus stop and the coat he gave her. It wasn't wealth or fame that changed their lives. It was a single act of compassion, pure and simple, that left everyone stunned.